All right, so let's look at the next example. In example 2, we are, again, trying to solve this equation. So I'm going to put solve here. Notice that this equation is not in standard form. So in order to even start the process, we do need to put it into standard form. So I'm going to subtract off 12x, and I'm going to add the 9 from the right-hand side so that it equals 0. And so I'm going to subtract off 12x from this side and add 9 as well. So on the left-hand side, we will get 25x squared. And then if I combine those x's, I'm going to get minus 30x plus 9 equals 0. So now we have things in standard form. Again, we could try to factor this and solve, but we are going to go right to the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula, again, is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, which that red part is the what we call the discriminant, and that's all divided by 2a. So this is our answer here. This is what we're going to plug in. The best thing to do is to figure out what this discriminant is first. So let's go ahead and calculate that out first. B squared minus 4ac. So my b value here, my b value is negative 30. My a value is 25, and my c value is 9. So if I calculate this, I get negative 30 squared minus 4 times a, which is 25, and then times c, which is 9. So this is going to give me, let's see, 900 minus 900, which is 0. All right, so our discriminant is 0, and if you think back to that chart that we made, a discriminant of 0 is just going to give me one answer. So going back to my equation right here, if I go ahead and finish this now, I'm going to have negative b, or the opposite of b, which is 30, and then plus or minus the square root of the discriminant, which we already just figured out was 0, and then all divided by 2 times a. So 2 times a is 25. So we get 30 plus or minus 0 divided by 50. So we get 30 plus or minus the square root of 0, of course, is 0, divided by 50. And so we really just have one answer here, because my plus or minus is plus or minus 0. If I add 0 to something, or I subtract 0 from something, nothing's really going to change. So therefore, my answer is just 30 over 50, which if we reduce is 3/5. This right here is my answer to this question above. Again, I have a quadratic. How do I solve that? I'm using the quadratic equation, and I go through it, and now I have 3/5 is my one answer. So now when I think back to, again, the visual of this, if I go to Desmo, and I'm going to plug in, looking at the standard form here, I have 25x squared minus 30x plus 9. If I graph that quadratic, so 25x squared minus 30x, that's plus 9. Watch what happens. All right, so now I have a parabola here, and notice how many x-intercepts, or how many zeros we have of this parabola. We have exactly 1. So if I click on that, 0.6. 0.6 is my only x-intercept in this problem. And going back to solving this problem, 3/5, or 0.6, is the only solution of this problem as well.